Let's go ahead and get started. So I'll just start out with introducing myself. My name is David Sciacca, and I guess a little bit of, and I'll be your teacher for this class, but a little bit of background on me. I went to school at, let's start from the beginning. I grew up in Monument, Colorado. That's a small town south of Denver, Colorado in the USA. I went to college at Regis University, where I initially started out getting my neuroscience and psychology bachelor's degrees. But once I actually started an internship in that field, I realized it just wasn't for me, and I opted to change my degree to computer science. From there, I learned how to code initially in the Java programming language, because that's what was taught at Regis. And then after that, I went into a master's program at Regis University for data science. And in that master's program is where I learned how to program in Python. While I was doing my master's, I got my current job at Comcast, which is one of the biggest telecommunication companies in the United States. And it's actually now a multinational company. We just acquired the company Sky, which is a telecommunications company in Europe. Not sure if you guys may have heard of it. But I work on the data lake and compute team at Comcast. So I build out the company's cloud data lake. So Comcast has a on-premise and off-premise structure for housing their data. So and I work on the off-premise aspect of that data lake. And so we manage loading all of the data that Comcast has into the AWS cloud. So that entails building out APIs for the data lake, where we facilitate creating a hierarchy for the data there and manage governance and access to the data and all the things like that. There's also the data compute platform, which we basically leverage a company called Databricks. Databricks is a company that manages Apache Spark. Apache Spark is a tool that's often used for big data workloads. So when you have terabytes or even petabytes of data, you need a lot of computing power to process that information, and Databricks helps to seamlessly manage that. And so our team works on that as well. And I actually just hit my 2-year mark working at Comcast. My technical title is data engineer. Data engineers essentially provide the platform for data scientists to do their job. So I went to school for data science, but data science involves a lot more math and statistics, and I really like coding and programming and building software. And so data engineering really allows me to do that. So just a little bit of background on the class. We're going to be learning how to code in this, basic coding. It will be a lot to learn. I want you to know up front that programming does have a very steep learning curve. If you're struggling with it to start, don't get discouraged. I struggled with it a lot when I first started, but once you get the hang of it, it all starts to make sense. So I'm hoping that by the end of this class, you'll be past that steep learning curve. But just be aware that throughout this class, you're probably going to struggle. You're probably going to have questions. And I want you to leverage myself as well as the rest of the class here as much as you can for any questions that you might have. Because, we're all in this together, and we want to, hopefully have some skills at the end of this that we can apply to life, maybe even start building our own software. We're going to start out today with just basic introductions, and I'm going to walk you through, or at least provide some materials on how to install Python on your local computer, and then install also an IDE, which that stands for an integrated development environment. And that's the tool we're going to use throughout the class for actually building projects and working on code and things like that. So at the end, so the assignment that you're going to get at the end of the day is basically just install the software and show me that you've installed it. That's just going to entail installing PyCharm, which is the IDE, and Python, and then just showing me a quick hello world program running in your IDE's REPL environment. And I'll explain what a REPL environment is here shortly. But first, I'd like to kind of go around and get everybody to introduce themselves. So if anyone would like to unmute and introduce yourself, name, where you're from, and what you hope to get out of this class, that would be awesome. Anyone can go first. If no one starts in the next 15, 20 seconds, I'll just kind of go alphabetically.
Hi, David. Can I maybe start?
Yeah, that sounds great.
Okay, awesome. So my name is Shawn Atlamini. I'm actually from Johannesburg, South Africa. And what I'm trying to get out of this class is, I'd like to hopefully be able to, one day understand, integrated systems and maybe learn how to, build maybe an app or, any, software that I design maybe to build. Or let's just say I'd like to get leverage, in a front foot on, like in AWS, sorry, and IT, as a whole.
Awesome. Oh, and one other thing I guess I'm curious about is, what you do for a living right now, and if you have any experience with programming already. If you could answer that, Shawn, and then everybody else, if you could include that in your introduction, that'd be great.
No sweat, man. So what I currently do is I'm actually in insurance. I'm a sales advisor. I actually don't have any. Oh, I was doing a bachelor in IT in business systems. This was like, I think 2016, and I had to drop out because of finance, of financial constraints. To put it that way. But I actually don't have much of like knowledge when it comes to like IT. So I'd like to actually learn, and broaden my perspective and my perception in this kind of field.
Awesome. Thank you for the introduction, Shawn. That was perfect. Anyone else would like to go
Thanks,
next?
David.
Hi guys, it's Cathy from South Africa. I'm gonna be very short and sweet. I've got almost stay-home mom, so little one sitting on my lap, and I would love to actually get involved into programming more and basically get a remote position, looking after my little one and working. He's now 13 months, and yeah. Stay home mom. What else can I say? Hello guys, and thank you very much, David.
Awesome. Thank you, Cathy. It's great to meet you.
Same here.
Hi, I don't know if you can hear me.
I can hear you.
My name is Pato Motran. Pato Tori. I live in Pretoria, in South Africa. I'm starting to seem like everyone in here is from South Africa. I currently work, as a sales and marketing consultant. Recently did my honors in marketing management, and I did programming or coding for like a semester, but in C#. So basically what I want to do now is I want to broaden my knowledge in programming, because I really want to work as a digital strategist, and I want to learn how to, I don't know, like develop my own websites and mobile apps as part of my portfolio and what I want to do, because I really want to be an independent person. I want to work as a digital marketing strategist in my own company, hopefully. So this is a step in that direction.
Very cool. Thank you, my Pato. I appreciate that introduction. My My girlfriend is actually in digital marketing strategy, so definitely something I'm somewhat familiar with, though she is the expert.
All right, that's amazing. That's amazing. Hopefully, I'll learn something from both you and your girlfriend.
Yeah, maybe I can get her in sometime, or at least connect you two, so that you guys could talk a little bit. But
yeah, that's amazing. All right, thank you.
thanks.
Afternoon, guys. My name is, I am sorry, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, my name is Matladzimdluli, Trevor Matladzimdluli, actually, and I'm from South Africa, currently in Pretoria. And what I am doing currently, I'm a budget analyst at the National Treasury. Actually, as to what I need from this class, as I'm into data analysis. Actually, currently, what I do as a budget economist, as a budget analyst and economist, actually, I'm dealing with a lot of data analytics. So what I want from this class is actually to get a larger perspective in that regard, because kind of recently my work is actually limited to certain softwares that we use. So I want to just broaden that and see how actually I can actually grow and then see what the future holds for me. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Maltese. And sorry if I pronounce anyone's name wrong. I'm terrible with names, and I'm going to try to, remember
Please
all these
just
and
call
get
me
it right.
Trevor.
Trevor? Okay.
Yes, Trevor will be fine.
Trevor. Okay, thanks.
Hi, everyone. My name is Massac. I'm from South Africa, but I'm currently based in Zambia. I work for an NGO here as a monitoring and evaluation consultant. I joined this program because I've always had a very keen interest in big data, and I thought this would be a step in the right direction. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you, CC Poa. Sorry again. I'm gonna try my best.
Basi's okay.
What was that?
Just
Sorry?
the 4 first letters. Just the first 4 letters is okay. Basi.
Basi. Perfect. Okay, thank you. Yeah, and if anyone has a nickname or anything they prefer to go by as you introduce yourself, that's great. Thank you.
I would prefer if you call me Bobo. It's easier for everyone.
Bobo?
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, thank you.
Hi guys, my name is Tabi. I am from Maseru, Lesotho. I work at the Central Bank of Lesotho currently in the Department of Supervision. I also have experience in data analytics from my work, but I don't have any training whatsoever in computer science, coding, or programming. So I'm looking forward to learning something new. I think it will help in my future dreams for introducing certain fintech solutions as we see them coming up and really providing interesting solutions for our markets. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Tabiso. I think I heard someone just start to speak, but you're very quiet. If maybe you could get a little closer to the microphone.
Hello.
I can hear you now. That's better.
Oh, hi. My name is Chibuya Hababote, but you can call me Chichi. I am based in Botswana, come from Botswana, and I think I'm in the same situation as my Pato, where I did coding for a semester and it was C#. That's the only amount of coding that I know, and it was very short. It was just the module. So I'm not really knowledgeable that much in terms of coding. By profession, I'm an internal auditor, and auditing is really going towards data and analytics. And I think that I could use that to leverage myself with regards to just being a better auditor, basically. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Chichi.
Sure.
Hi, everyone. Am I well heard?
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay, this is Eric from South Africa. My interest in this course is to stimulate my data analysis skills. Part of my background is finance, but currently I've got my own investment company that stimulates investment between South Africa and the western part of Africa. So in understanding the African economy, I think data analysis is very important. And that's one of the reasons why I'm tuning into this class.
Awesome, sounds great. Thanks, Eric.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Ahmed Ilu from Nigeria, an economics lecturer and a postgraduate student. Actually, I have BSc in economics and MSc in economics. So data science has been my passion right from undergraduate to one course that we have been running, that is econometrics. So after a while I graduated, I've been writing papers and I've been passionate about data analytics and all this kind of data science related stuff. So, and when I saw the advert on LinkedIn, what motivated me was that quite all right, last year, earlier 2020, I improved and gather a lot of skills using the R and R Studio software, statistical software. So, and like moderately, I have like a moderate kind of skill set using R and R Studio. So Python, this is my first approach with Python. So if I could be able to pick up with this, so I could have a vast tools to use for data analytics because I'm conversant with R and R Studio. That's one thing. eViews, that is econometrics software. There's this data for statistical analysis. So basically economics with it. So if I could be able to improve my skill set with the Python, so you see I have a little bit alternatives with statistical software. That's my motivation for this program.
Awesome, that's great, Ahmad. Yeah, I learned a good bit of R as well myself when I was in my data science program. So
yeah,
hopefully
yeah.
it'll be a smooth transition to Python, but they are fairly different languages.
yeah, inshallah, that's great.
Awesome, thank you.
No.
Hello.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Hello. Yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. I'm Issa Mohammed. I'm from Cameroon. Actually, I'm an instructor, the Department of Health, the STEM Higher Institute of Health and Business. I'm equally into community health and a postgraduate candidate at the University of Boya. So actually, my motivation for this course is actually to have advanced knowledge in data analysis and as well being able to create a website because I've been having so much difficulties in having a website because I intend to create an NGO in future. So I think being part of this course will enable me to have that upper hand of creating a website and as well have advanced knowledge data analysis. Though I don't really know much about coding, but I like the outcome of coding. I like those who have knowledge on coding. I don't really know much about coding. I have a poor knowledge on how to do coding. So with you all here, I think I can improve my knowledge on that. So thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you, Isa, or Isa. Sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong. But yeah, that hopefully that will be something that you'll be able to come out of this with is a better understanding of programming. We're not going to focus too much on building websites specifically, but there's a package called Django that you can definitely do as part of your project at the end of the class. And you can use that to build a website and then I think that would be a great final project for you, and I can help you with that along the way. So very cool. Great to meet you. All right, let's see. So I think we've got a lot of introductions, but there's still a number here that that I haven't heard from yet. So just let me see. All right, so I'm just gonna kind of go down the list of people that I haven't heard from yet. I'm just gonna ask you to unmute, and if you see that, oh, it looks like someone just unmuted. If you want to go ahead. It seems like we're having trouble hearing you. It sounds like it might be broken up.
Hi, David. My name is Shawn. Hello. Can you hear me now, David?
Yeah, now I can hear you. Great.
Okay. Hi, everybody. My name is Hugh. I'm here because of thanks to David who added me into the group. Actually, I'm very familiar with Starter, but I don't know much about coding. So it'd be great for myself also and for future projects to learn how to code. One of my ambition is to develop a mobile application in the future. So I think this will be a big step toward that accomplishment. Thank you so much, David.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, and
I'm from Cameroon. I didn't say something about it. I'm from Cameroon.
Yeah, no problem. It's a lot to remember. Yeah, hopefully this will help to that end. We're not going to learn specifically about mobile development. My experience with mobile development has been specifically in Java, but I'm happy to help with that if that's something you want to do with your final project. So I'll just keep that in mind, and we'll go from there when that time comes. Thank you.
All right, thanks, David.
Seemed like Lerato, you just unmuted and muted again. If you want to go ahead. Hey, Lerato, do you want to go ahead with your introduction?
I think Lerato is not aware that his mic is on. It's not talking to us.
Okay. Just muted you for now. When you are ready. Oh, I see you sent something in the chat. We could hear something, but it didn't sound like you speaking. It sounded like maybe you're a kid in the background. Let me ask you to unmute again, and then we'll try again. Hello?
Hello guys, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Great.
Okay, thank you. Hello guys, my name is Lerato and I'm from South Africa in Free State. I'm a Master of Agriculture student, so I know nothing about coding. I'm just here to explore the opportunities that can be utilized in agriculture. I've realized that some of my study requires a lot of coding, so I've asked some analysts to do it for me because I have no idea what's happening there. So I'm really hoping to learn a few things here. So thank you.
Awesome. Sounds great. Thanks, Lerato.
Hello.
Hi.
Hey, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I'm Solomon from Nigeria. I have a background in engineering, but coding is not a strong point for me. But I've always had interest in coding. I've always loved what it's about. So I seized this opportunity to see what I can make out of all of it, like trying to explore new opportunities.
Awesome.
Thanks.
That sounds great. Thank you, Solomon. All right, so let's see. I think that's most people. That looks like we still have a couple that haven't gone yet. So I'm gonna send a notification to ask you to unmute, and then if you get that notification, please do and introduce yourself. It sounds like you're breaking up or very quiet.
Hello.
Hi, I just heard a hello. It sounds like it's a little broken up.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, I can hear you now.
Hello, can you hear me now? Oh, I'm sorry about that. Hello,
No
can you hear me? If can you hear me now?
Sorry, you were just
Hello?
breaking up. What was that? I can hear you again.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Yes.
Okay, thank you. I'm Ifeanyi Ijomobi from Nigeria, precisely from Abuja. I'm connecting from Abuja, and I am one of the things I want to learn from this programming is to learn how to apply the programming language in modeling the strength of materials in my field, construction materials in my field. And I also want to learn how to use programming language to be able to determine the mechanical properties of materials and their behaviors.
Awesome.
Can you hear me, David?
Yeah, I can hear you. It's a little broken up, but I think
Hello, David, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yes, and I think I got the gist of what you're trying to say. It's a little broken up, but
hello.
That all sounds great. Thank you for the introduction.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Hello.
I think there might be something up with your connection, but I was able to hear your introduction, so thank you for that.
Okay.
All right, so looks like we have a couple more people to go, and then let me just.
My main interest is, yes, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Yeah, yeah, I could hear your introduction. Thank you for the introduction. I appreciate it. All right, so let's see. I'm gonna go down the list. I think there are just two more people to go. If you get the notification asking you to unmute, please do and give your introduction.
Hi, my name is Boomi Oswagu. I'm from South Africa, Johannesburg. I'm a claims advisor in the insurance industry. And I'm interested in coding because I just love technology and I love experimenting and doing new stuff on the PC. So yeah, that's probably.
Awesome. Yeah, hopefully this is helpful to that end. That sounds great. Thank you for the introduction, Mapumi. All right, I think there's just one other person that hasn't gone yet, and that looks like it's Lucas. If you could unmute and give your introduction, that would be great. I'm not getting a response. If you could at some point, please like post an introduction to the chat, Lucas. Otherwise, let's move on for now. So thank you everybody for those introductions. We're going to be working closely together between all of us. So hopefully you all can maybe build some relationships amongst yourselves so that you can kind of bounce ideas off of each other and help each other out. It sounds like a lot of you are from South Africa, so maybe even some of you would be able to meet up in person to help troubleshoot each other's code and things like that. But you know, otherwise, let's leverage Zoom and Google Meets and all those various technologies that are already out there to facilitate working on projects and asking each other questions as well as asking me. Yeah, so feel free to email me, and then there's also you know, everybody on your on that email list for the class. You can get the other class members' emails from there. And I believe you even have like names with emails from the initial email sent out by Hugh from the Public Policy in Africa Initiative organization that put all this together. So just one more thing before we move on. I just want to let you all know that this, like, so I have some experience tutoring. I teach one student every week, and then I have various other experience teaching, but this is my teaching really in a one-on-one context. This is really my first time doing a class with this many people. So I hope you bear with me as I learn with you. I'm going to be learning how to be a good teacher, and hopefully, and if you have any feedback, please do provide it. But yeah, bear with me. This is my first time as well, so I'm learning right there with you. Just keep that in mind. All right, great. So what I really want to do with the rest of today. So first, I'm going to show you a little bit of Python code, basically just a simple REPL environment, as well as the tool PyCharm that we're going to be using. So I'm going to share my screen here. Give me just a moment. All right, so I should be sharing my screen now. Can someone unmute and confirm whether or not you can see my screen?
Yeah, we can see it.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Thank you.
we can see it.
Thank you. Perfect. Okay, cool. So the two things that we're really going to be using a lot in this class are Python and PyCharm. PyCharm, like I said, is an IDE. That stands for an integrated development environment, and it basically allows you to write code, test code, save code, all that stuff in an interactive environment. It often suggests what you're trying to type. It suggests improvements to your code, things like that. So we're gonna be using PyCharm, and it's a free tool to download as long as you get the community edition. Just make sure when you do go to the download link, get the community edition, because otherwise it will cost you a fairly significant amount of money. But this is PyCharm here, and then this here is just a terminal. This is like a command line shell here.
Hello. Hello.
Hi.
Hello. Hi, sir. Before you move forward, I just want to make a question. Like, sure. You've mentioned that we are going to use both Python and PyCharm. Is it equivalent to, and you've mentioned that PyCharm is IDE, just like that we have in RStudio. Do you think are they equivalent?
They're very similar. They're not exactly equivalent because they're made by different people. RStudio was made by the people who actually created R, but RStudio is an IDE itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, RStudio is the IDE for R itself. So it's kind of equivalent in that sense. But PyCharm itself was made by JetBrains. And they make a bunch of different IDEs for different programming languages, but the one we're going to focus on is PyCharm. But those interested in web development might look into WebStorm. If anyone's interested in Java or C related languages, IntelliJ is a great IDE for that. But for this class, we're just going to focus on PyCharm. and Python.
Understand.
Yeah, great question. Thank you. Cool. So yeah, this is PyCharm here, and this is my command line environment. I don't know what technology you all have, if you have a Windows, a Linux, or a Mac computer. I have a Mac, but one of the people that I tutor most often has a Windows machine, so hopefully I'll be able to help with that. There's some differences there, but once we get PyCharm installed and everything set up, we should have a similar environment for everybody. So we'll just start with PyCharm. So I've already opened this up. This is the community edition. Once you get it installed, what you're going to want to do is you're going to click the Create New Project button, and we're going to want to do a pure Python project. So I will just expand this here, and we're going to create a virtual environment. A virtual environment, make sure that you keep everything isolated to this environment, so that you're not interfering with other things that you have installed on your computer. Something that you'll often encounter when you're programming is that you have certain dependencies or requirements for a specific project. So in that specific project, you want to make sure that you aren't downloading things that, or installing things that are going to interfere or create issues otherwise. So this, one moment, I'm hearing some background noise. Just gonna go through, there we go. Cool. So this virtual environment will isolate it from the rest of my machine because I have a number of other projects that I'm already working on, and I don't want this to interfere with what I have installed there. So something I have here is I have a number of different versions of Python. That's just because of being a developer in different projects needing different versions of Python. But you won't see this, hopefully. Hopefully you'll only see one version when you install your new version of Python. If you have a Mac, you will see at least two versions because Macs come with Python 2.7 installed on it. But if you have a Windows or Linux machine, they won't already have those installed. So you should only see the interpreter that you install as part of downloading Python. So you can name your project up here. So I'll just name my project demo here. I'll do it PPiAI demo, and then I just create this virtual environment and project. So that popped up on a different screen. Let me pull it over. So you might have just seen a quick bit of things running going on there. That was just setting up my virtual environment basically. And now I have a completely isolated version of Python and a new project where I can add files as needed. So something important to know about here is you have another terminal instance down here. So this is the same terminal instance as over here, except it's running in my virtual environment. So I won't have all of the Python packages that I've already installed onto my machine available here because I'm in a virtual environment. I'd have to install those specifically into my virtual environment. The terminal is not too important to know about, except for when it comes time to install projects, but I'm going to show you another way that you can install various packages and things into Python. The most important thing for us right now, and this is going to be kind of part of your homework to make sure that everything's set up correctly, is the Python console down here. So there's this little taskbar down here. I selected the Python console, and that brings up a REPL environment for Python. REPL stands for read, execute, print, loop. So basically, I put something in, and I hit enter. The REPL environment reads it. It executes the code that I put in there. It'll respond by printing or outputting something if there's something to output, and then it'll loop back to the beginning of that and be ready to read again. So I can just say I create a string and I say hello world here. That just like reports that back to me. Basically, that's the REPL in action. One function that you'll want to know about is the print function. So this works in the REPL environment where I just put in that string and it prints out, and we'll learn about strings and such in our next lecture. We'll talk about data types and everything, but in a actual file, if we want to write anything out, we have to do print and then hello world here. And that will print it without the quotes because it wasn't responding with a string. It wasn't just echoing back the string I put in. It's actually printing the value that I put in there, and we see hello world respond here. If you're wondering why I said hello world, anybody who has some programming experience probably already knows this, but anytime you're working with software and learning a programming language, the first thing you do is you write a hello world program. So the idea here is back in the day when computer science was originating, basically people, you know, they wanted the computer to say hello back to the world. And so they put some input in and had the computer respond with hello world. And so it's become a tradition. Whenever you do anything in programming, there's always a hello world project at first when you're learning something completely new, especially a new language. And then there's also a bunch of different projects that are kind of equivalent to hello world, like in the data science space, they call MapReduce the hello world of data science, but that's it's not important if you don't know what that means. Cool. So there's all sorts of stuff you can do in this REPL environment. You can do simple math. So if I want to, you know, say 2 + 2 here, it will evaluate. So that's part of, so it reads, evaluates, and then prints. So it evaluates the math that I just put in there. And we can do, you know, all sorts of complex math here. So say we wanted to have like, say we wanted to know what 134 divided by 18 is, or if we wanted, or we want to chain together anything like 134 divided by 18, we can wrap this in parentheses here to make sure that it evaluates properly, multiply that by 4, and then add 10. And we get our answer there. So we can do simple to more complicated math problems. And then as we install and import packages down the line, we can get ever more complex with that. Like we could install a package to do a linear regression or something like that if that's something we want to do, and we can evaluate that in the REPL environment. So personally, what I like to do whenever I'm writing code is I use the REPL environment for testing and evaluating the code that I'm putting out there, because you just enter it and it responds. You can store variables in it, all sorts of things. We'll talk about that next week. It's good for testing out what you're thinking before you put it into an actual program. So one other thing to show here, I'm going to just create a Python file in here. So what I did here is I right click on the folder, go to new, and then I'm going to select Python file. You could do file as well. If you do file, you need to end it with the .py extension. But if you select Python file here, it'll automatically add the py extension for you. So I just named my file demo and hit enter, and that created this file here. So I can do print hello world, and then I can come over here and right click on the file again and run my demo file. And you can see here, it printed hello world. I could also, you know, say print say maybe I wanted to print this math down here or something. I could do that as well. And if I want to print a new line, I'm just going to put in a print statement with just a new line character in there. We'll learn about the new line character and all that stuff in time. This is just kind of for walking you through everything. So we see hello world, it printed out a new line here. So that's why there's some extra space. And then that same value that we saw in the Python console is there. So what your assignment is going to be for this first week is you're going to go and download Python, and you're going to download PyCharm. You're going to set up your first PyCharm project, and I want you to, at a minimum, in the Python console, print hello world. And then you're going to take a screenshot of that and just send it to me. It's a really simple first assignment, but it's extremely important. We all need to get Python set up, otherwise we can't really move forward with the class. There may be some issues with installing Python. If you have any questions, let me know, but I'm going to be sharing some links on how to go about that here momentarily. So any questions so far?
Yes, sir, there's a question, please.
Yeah.
Is how to, I was wondering how you get out the console from the initial menu that you've just kickstarted.
So how did I get to it, or how do I get out of it?
Yes, how do you get to the console where you've written the codes?
So this one up here, so here, let me just close out of this and I'll kind of start over here. So now that I've created that project, it was called Untitled 3, or no, PPiAI demo, never mind. So you come in here, you would create new project. I already went through that process. Let's just go through it one more time, just for the purpose of demonstration. So I'm gonna call this PPiAI demo 2. You're going to select your base interpreter. Ideally, you'll just have one. If you have a Mac, you'll see 2.7 as well, but we want to use Python 3 in this class. And then you create that environment, sets everything up here. It's creating my virtual environment right now. And now in here, you'll see like a taskbar down here. So hopefully everyone can see that. Cool. And then you'll click the Python console here, and that will initiate your Python REPL environment. And then you can do print hello world here. And that's really what I want you to do for homework, and then just take a screenshot of that. Just FYI, assignments will get more complicated in time, but this is just to make sure everything's set up. And then if you want to create a file, come up to the folder up here, right click on it, go to new, and then Python file, and then I'll just call it demo. And then you have a new Python file here. We can put the same code that we put in the REPL environment here, but hitting enter here doesn't do anything yet. What we need to do, since it's a file, is right click on that file and then come down to run, and then it'll output it here, and process finished with exit code 0 is a good sign. That means your program ran without any issues. If you see any exit code other than 0, you have a bug in your code. So just keep that in mind. And then you can come back to the Python console again down here. And if you ever have any issues in this Python REPL environment and you need to restart it, there's this button up here. This rerun restarts your REPL environment. So now I have a fresh environment to work with. Does that answer your question?
Yes, yes, you have answered the question. I understand, and through the practice, I will perfect that.
Perfect. Cool. Yeah, so that's what I want you to do for your assignment this week. There's also, so we have a few more minutes in class. I want to go, I don't know if everyone had time to review the syllabus, but if not, I would like to just real fast review that, because we do have readings and such that I would like everybody to do every week in preparation for class, because this is, again, as I mentioned before, programming is a very steep learning curve. So get as much exposure as you can. Start out with your read before class every week. Then we're going to go over what we learned in those readings, and then there will be an assignment based on that reading. So here's the syllabus. If you didn't receive it, let me know. I can send it out again to you. But it has, Saturdays, 1500 GMT. It has the link to our Zoom room here. My name, my phone number, and my email. I much prefer email to my phone number, especially because of the time difference here. Like, it's almost 9 a.m. for me right now, and I know it's in the afternoon for all of you. So if you do need to call, please consider the time difference. Call or text, please consider the time difference, but otherwise email is preferred. So we have a required text here. This is free, so you just click this link in the syllabus, and that's going to open up this book here. It's called Python Notes for Professionals. And I have readings assigned each week. This book has a ton of information. It's a great book. It's almost 900 pages long. But what we need to do here is what you'll want to do each week is basically come down into the actual course schedule down here. And I have, so week 1, just a course in peer introductions and software installation, which I will be giving you links on software installation to videos, as well as some text links for how to install the software on all the different operating systems that I'm supporting in this class, which is Windows, Linux, or Mac OS. Optional reading is chapter 1 if you want some more background on this language, but that's optional. Before next week, though, I do need you to read chapters 2, 9, and 15, because next week we're going to be going over Python data types. We're going to be going over simple mathematical operators and comparisons. If you ever want more reading, let me know. I can give you more, but please at least please at least review those chapters before our next lecture. And assignment 1, again, is the set up your Python environment, set up PyCharm, and print hello world in at least your console here, your Python console, and take a screenshot of this here. If you want, you can do this up here as well and take a screenshot of that, kind of bonus points, but it's not like you're getting a formal grade or any credit for this class necessarily. This is purely for learning. So if you want to do it just for the extra experience, go for it. But yeah, so next week, please read chapters 2, 9, and 15 before next week. We'll be going over data types, variables, and operators in Python next week. And please have that screenshot emailed to me on or before the time of our lecture next week. So that's really it for today's lecture. Is just an introduction and showing you the tools and talking about what we need. The assignment, again, install everything, take the screenshot, and things will accelerate with time. So I know it's a really easy start, but that's intentional. Any questions before we end for today?
Hi, yes, I do have a question. Can you
Go
hear
ahead.
me?
Yeah.
Well, this program is like 6 months, correct? Around about 6 months. So I'm just thinking that there will be a situation where maybe one of us or most of us can't attend a class maybe once or twice throughout the time. How can we catch up for that week? Will there be a video that's posted up? Will they be, I'm just trying to find out what means we can go through just to catch up with the class that we missed out on, should we miss out on one.
Yeah, that's a great question. Thank you for asking. That's something I meant to cover and totally forgot. So in that case, I record each of these lectures. I plan to upload them to Amazon S3. They'll be available for you to download. And then you can view the lecture there. I may see about just uploading it to YouTube. We'll see about that, because YouTube might be easier than downloading from S3. But yeah, the lectures will be available online after the class. Please attend so you can ask questions, but if you have to miss, that's totally fine. Life comes up. There will be times as well that I may have something going on myself, and I may not be able to do a lecture that week. In that case, I'll let you know ahead of time. I'll record the lecture ahead of time, and the expectation is really that you view the lecture on or before the time of our normal lecture, or as soon as you can after. And even if we don't have a lecture, assignments are still due at the start of our lecture time. So Saturdays at 1500 GMT is when assignments are due. Regardless, I'll still review them if they're late, but it helps me a lot if everything's on time. That way there's not a backlog for me to go over. Great question.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Hi, David. It's Hugh over here.
Hey,
Is
Hugh.
it possible to upload them on YouTube?
Yeah, yeah, that's my plan, is to try to get them uploaded to YouTube. I just haven't, this is my first time recording a Zoom call, so we'll see how it goes. I hope they'll let me import a video. If not, then I may need to have it so that you would download it from Amazon S3. It's still free to access, but I'll figure that out and I'll let you know how it goes. I'm gonna, try that out right after we end here in a moment.
All right, thank you very much.
Of course. Any other questions at this time? All right, cool. So just real fast to review the course structure, I guess. So next week we'll be reviewing data types, variables, and operators in Python. In week 3, we're gonna review conditionals, so if statements and such, and data structures part 1, and then data structures are an extremely important part of any programming language. So we're gonna have 3 parts of that. That's gonna take up a number of lectures there. And a big reason why it's spread out so much is because there's clearly a lot of reading around data structures. There's a lot of chapters to read. So that's one reason. Then in week 6, we're gonna go over loops, iterables, and iterators. In week 7, we're gonna talk about input and output and files and folders and how to interact with those. In week 8, we're gonna go over functions. Week 9, classes and decorators. In week 10, modules and packages that are external to the base modules and packages. We're going to talk about in the included modules and packages in time. In week 11, we're going to go over unit testing. So this is how you're going to be able to test your code in a programmatic way. And then week 12, we're not going to have any class. We're going to have a break. Assignment 11 won't be due that day. We're just going to take some time off, take a break before we get to the second phase of our program. In the second phase of our program in week 13, we're going to brainstorm final project ideas and you're going to give a formal write-up on your on what your project is going to be. And then the remaining weeks after that, we're going to have weekly check-ins on project updates. We're still going to meet every week, but that's really going to be for allowing people to ask each other questions, ask me questions, get feedback and help from our peers. That those may not take a whole hour. They may take the whole hour. We'll see. But that's what we plan to do for weeks 14 through 22. And then the last 2 weeks of our class together, we're going to present our final projects. So when that time comes, I'm hoping that everybody can have a stable internet connection and be able to share their project with the whole class and get feedback. That's something about programming. You're constantly iterating, constantly improving. So, just because you finish your final project, it's for this class doesn't mean it's really done. You can always make it better. Yeah. So that's basically it for the day today. If you have any other questions, please reach out to me via email. And if you need to call, we can do a phone call. Yeah. Thank you everybody for joining today. And I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day and a great upcoming week. We will talk next week, same time, same place. Thanks everybody.